You may be thinking that the inevitable happened. I eventually caught COVID because why else would I be in a hazmat suit? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Andy, and on this channel I do travel and lifestyle content. As you can see from the title of the video, things went south, baby. Things went south. And I wish this could be clickbait, but unfortunately it is not. And over the past week or so, I have been contemplating if should I post this video or should I wait until I have left China, because up until now I have really tried to stay away from content that would be deemed controversial or political or anything of that nature, because, well, for obvious reasons. Y'all know where I live. Y'all know where I live, right? But then I went back and I looked at all my content that I've shared about my life in China, and it's been great things about China, and I felt like it would be ingenuous of me to not share the lows, because the thing about China is your highs will be very high, but your lows, you better buckle up, honey, because you're going 6 feet under. The lows are so low. And I have to say that this is probably my lowest low in China. Traumatic, like numbing. I don't even have the words to articulate this experience, guys. It just has been, wow. It's been shocking, to say the least. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Anyways, I'll just relay the story from the beginning, and yeah, I think that it'll just make more sense. The story begins on July 15th, right? This is a Friday. So myself and two of my friends, we went out to this restaurant called, well, it's kind of like a bar too. Excuse me. It's called Bar Inc. It's in OCT here in Shenzhen. Cool. We get there, we have dinner, we have a cocktail or two, and then we go home. So I would say we were there between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Yeah, we go home, everything is chilled, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I go about my business, everything's normal. Fortunately for me, I did take a COVID test every single day after that Friday, and the results came back negative. Now, Monday, July 18th, I get a phone call in the evening, right? And I pick up. At first, I think it's like Meituan, or like I'm getting a delivery or whatever. And then it's a lady. She asked me, do you speak Chinese? At first, I think it's a telemarketer. So I'm just like, I'm not trying to even find out what they want. I just say, no, I don't speak any Chinese. And they say, okay, like, let me add you on like WeChat, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. I check my WeChat. She definitely adds me on WeChat. And then the first thing she sends, so I say hi. And the first thing she sends is, oh, I'm from the CDC in Nanshan, the restaurant that you dined at on July 15th. Someone in that restaurant tested positive for COVID. And as such, you have to go and get quarantined in a hotel facility or whatever. I'm gonna put the message somewhere on the screen because I can't remember it at the top of my head. I'm taken aback. I'm like, baby, what do you mean I have to go to? You mean I have to go to a facility? Why can't I isolate at home? Anyways, while I'm like reading this message, I quickly screenshot the message and I send it to the two other friends I was with. And my other friend says, yeah, I just got the same message too. Before I know it, this lady has added us into a group. And it's like, oh, we have to provide our address, blah, blah, blah. Like, things just happen so fast, guys.
What the hell we gonna do now?
And I'm just like, surely this is a prank. This is a joke. This has to be a joke, because what do you mean? All three of us, we have like negative COVID tests for 3 consecutive days. All right. So we're asking this lady, like, what are our options? Can't we, isolate at home? Because all 3 of us, we live alone. And at this point in time, our tests are negative. We don't have any symptoms. So it makes no sense to move us from our homes to a facility where we would be potentially exposed to the virus. Makes sense, right? Any person would think that way, right? Lady says, no, absolutely not. You have to go to the facility. You have to go to the hotel. It's the policy. There's nothing we can do.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And then she further continues to threaten us, if we don't cooperate, we're gonna get deported. I'm gonna come back to this point. I'm gonna circle back to this point. You may be wondering, how did they find me? How were they able to get my number? So in one of my older videos here on the channel, I did mention that in China, everywhere you go, there are facial recognition cameras, and that's basically how they were able to find us. Because at first, the lady sent me a picture of the video footage from the restaurant. Even though it was a little bit blurry, I'm pretty sure they were able to kind of track all my movements from where I was coming from, and some of the ones on the street where you can clearly see the face, because that one was a little bit dark just because it was inside a restaurant. But that's how they found me. Long story short, that evening, someone does come to my apartment. Someone from my community does come to my apartment to basically, I guess, arrange the mode of transportation to move me from my apartment to the facility. Guys, when I tell you, I cried. I was hysterical. I'm pretty sure everyone in this building thought I was being slaughtered, because I cried. I wasn't even crying cute. I was crying. I was hysterical, and I was showing them all my negative tests. I was showing them that I have 3 days of consecutive tests, which scientifically actually means I'm past the incubation period. And again, I didn't want to be someone who's irresponsible. I was willing to isolate at home, but no, that was not good enough. I had to go to the facility. But because I was just a mess and I was hysterical, the guy says, oh, okay, I'm gonna call Big Brother. Big Brother is, the government, someone from the government. He calls Big Brother, and then he says, oh, okay, all right. We're gonna let you just stay at your apartment tonight, and we're gonna come back for you tomorrow. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you come back tomorrow? Just let me stay the entire isolation period in my house. But anyways, I agree, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's all right. At least I have 1 more night at my place. I'll deal with the rest the following day. Now, the things that were going on in my head at the time, the first one was, I'm not going to be able to eat the food. It's going to be terrible. I know it's going to be terrible. Guys, I don't know if anyone remembers when the Winter Olympics were in Beijing. All the athletes kept complaining about how horrible the food was. I mean, if they couldn't feed world athletes good food, who am I? Rian the blonde? I'm eating trash. I'm gonna eat trash. I just knew. And the thing about food here, it's very, very greasy. It's very greasy. It's not nutritious. And sometimes it's the meat that is genetically modified. It's just not good. It's not good. Anyways, I'm thinking about that. I'm also thinking about what condition is this, facility, because hotels in China, they have no shame to actually have a place that has mold and still put people in there. So I'm thinking to myself, if I go to a facility and this facility, the conditions are horrible, I might just get sick from the actual condition. And I've always said to my friends, I'm not even scared of COVID. I'm actually scared of going to the facility. That's the thing that always scared me. And another thing, and this one is a big one, and this has been my experience. I don't need anyone in the comments to invalidate me about this. This has been my experience as a Black African in China. Chinese people, for the most part, have this notion that, Africans aren't used to nice things, technology, modern living. They think that these things, we experience them for the first time in China. You see it even in the way, they start up their conversations like, Nanfei Rema, ooh, China, very good, very good. To me, it gives the impression that they think this is probably the first time we've lived in brick houses here in China. Yeah. So I'm thinking about all of these things, and I'm like, there's no ways I'm gonna survive this. There's no ways I'm gonna survive it. And okay, granted, I go to sleep, and then now it's Tuesday, okay? And basically they're saying I will be at the facility from Tuesday, July 19th up until the 22nd. All right, the 22nd of July. And then after the 22nd of July, I come back home and do a 3-day monitoring. Please make it make sense. Why can't I just stay at home? Again, I'm just like, why can't I just stay at home? Because again, you're moving me. I do not have the virus. I don't have any symptoms. There is nothing wrong with me that would require me to be close to a doctor or anything of that sort, and now I feel like you want to make sure I get the virus. Literally at this point, I'm thinking to myself, for sure they want me to test positive, because how does this even make sense? How does it make sense? Anyways, Tuesday comes. My building tells me that they've put a hazmat suit, the white hazmat suit outside my door, and when the CDC comes to fetch me, I should wear it and go downstairs. I'm like, why do I have to wear a hazmat suit? And they say, oh, it's for your own protection. From what? What are you protecting me from? Like, what are you, like, guys, at this point, I'm just like, this has to be a prank. Like, how is this even real? Anyways, I'm at home. I'm talking now to my 2 other friends. One of the friends gets picked up first, and she's sharing her location. So she tells us, oh, she got picked up in a bus, blah 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 blah, and all of that. And the second friend also gets picked up. They get sent to a different hotel further out. And because I had been complaining that I won't be able to eat the food, so they basically say to me, okay, we'll allow you to order in your food. Okay, cool. But I'm skeptical about that though, because it's China. They can just change the policy whenever they want. Cool. So later that evening, early evening, just as people are starting to come back from work, I get a message, oh, the CDC car is downstairs. So I put on the hazmat suits. Guys, I'm just numb. I'm thinking to myself, okay, surely when I get to the facility, they're gonna say this is a prank, because this cannot be real. Put on the hazmat suit, I go downstairs. When I get downstairs, guess what the car is? Please guess what the car is. An ambulance, guys. An entire ambulance. They picked me up in an ambulance. All right, now here's the thing. The ambulance is not even just there, come on, a discreet. No, it had to be seen that it's there. It's like making noise. The lights are flashing. Ebile, I'm just like, why this drama? Like, why? Guys, I wanted to scream. I wanted to scream. The ambulance is busy, like the sirens, like, and obviously, like, people can see there's a foreigner coming out of the building wearing a hazmat suit. People are confused because they're like, okay, what is going on? So I get into the ambulance. I did take some footage of myself in the ambulance wearing the hazmat suit, and I'm thinking to myself, this is just unnecessary exposure. Because where is the science? Where is the science in all of this? And I think that for the first, few months when COVID, started happening, scientists spent so much time educating masses on, incubation period, how the virus works and all of this stuff. And then now it just seemed to me like none of this was just making any sense. It didn't follow any form of science. Anyways, I get to the quarantine hotel, and I check in, I guess, and I go upstairs. When I get upstairs, I realize I think I just had a brain fog. I realized that I forgot my backpack that had my laptops, my books, my chargers, and I'm thinking, what the hell am I gonna do for the next few days? Like, I need those things. So I messaged the front desk that, hey, I forgot my bag and I'm gonna need someone to help me bring it. And they're like, they can only accept whatever's sent to me, but I need to organize it. I'm like, okay, no problem. I reach out to my building. I message them. I'm like, I need someone to get into my apartment and get my bag. It wasn't going to be difficult too, because my building has a keypad system. Actually generate a temporary PIN and access my apartment. So because it was in the evening and the front desk staff usually leave around 8-9 p.m. so I knew I wasn't going to get hold of them. But the next day in the morning, I sent a message. And guess what they say to me? They say to me, we need to check with the community if we can go into your building because you're still in isolation and we don't know if it's safe. You don't know if it's what? Yeah. Guys, at this point, I'm so heated. I'm annoyed. Like, I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean you have to check with the community? So now I'm thinking, this person you have to contact in the community, like, are they a virologist? Are they a doctor? Are they a health practitioner? Like, what's their expertise when it comes to handling infectious diseases? Like, what's the experience? All right? And I'm like, nothing is scientific. It's literally just, it's vibes, guys. It's just vibes. And it's so traumatic. Like, it's so traumatic. And I'm just there and I'm like crying and I'm like, just thinking about it. I'm there, I'm frustrated. And at this point, I'm just so frustrated. I'm losing it. And I tell them, I'm like, well, if you think it's that dangerous, then wear a hazmat suit and just go get my bag. All right? In like an hour or so, they video call me and security is getting into my camera and they're literally wearing a full hazmat suit with a visor to come and rescue my bag. Yeah, I'm not even laughing, guys. I'm laughing at which part of this makes sense. And I'm thinking, is there anyone who's going to think, okay, where's the logic in this? No. Rocks inside a video chat, and I had to like direct the security to show where the backpack was. And it was just in my living room. And Mugai, full on hazmat, visor, gloves. And honestly, like, I even said to them, I was like, I don't know, maybe the viruses in China are different because a virus needs a host. It needs a host. There's no virus that can survive for over 12 hours on a surface. So there's no need to be that extra. At the very least, a mask and gloves would have sufficed. Anyways, yeah. But that's my 2 cents on that. Okay, so while at the facility, I did take some clips. I'll go ahead and let those play, and I'll also show you what they were feeding us. But I was again fortunate enough to be able to order, because the hotel I got sent to was here in Nanshan. So it was pretty central. It was actually close to Window of the World. What I noticed when I got there was that they moved me from Sheko and they moved me to a different part of Nanshan, and that area just had so many cases. So you moved me from an area that didn't have a single case of COVID and sent me to the heat where it was happening. Again, where's the logic in all of this? So the actual condition of the hotel I went to, it wasn't bad. It was just a normal like hotel, like it was a normal Chinese hotel, and I was pleasantly surprised because they did clean it well. Usually it's a hit or miss, to be honest, but they did clean it well. But the thing is, it's the anxiety of being moved from a space that you're familiar with and being sent somewhere that you don't know how it's going to be, so that was just another thing. So open, it's going to beep, and there's a chair. So this is the food I'm not going to eat, and as you can see, the people have stuff there as well. Alright guys, so after throwing a tantrum, they let me order my own food. I got a coffee, well, it's a oatmeal latte from Funk and Kale, and I just wanted something sweet. I'm also PMSing, which is not helping me, so I got this carrot cake, and I'm gonna be so unhealthy today. I had to get some like pasta or like something to just pick me up. Yo, I'm going through the most. Let's see. Anyways, I'm in there, so I tell my friends what's going on. I send pictures and videos, and everyone's like checking up on me. So I'm like trying to talk to people so that I'm not like feeling really bad. But while I was in there, my emotions were just so like high and low. I'd be okay when I was like, talking to my friends, and the minute like I hung up, it just came back. All of it just came back. And it was hard because I have like just been mentally struggling with a lot, and so this was the extra beating that I didn't need, so this whole thing just caught me at a time where I was already going through a lot, so it just amplified everything. It amplified everything. I had dark thoughts, like I had really dark thoughts. I remember the day before I got released, on Thursday, July 21st, I remember thinking to myself, oh, if they don't release me, I'm just going to break. Like I thought about breaking like a mason jar, and I thought I was just going to cut myself and like just harm myself, so that at the very least they take me to the hospital and then I would just, be out. But come to find out, I wouldn't have gone to the hospital because they have a doctor in the quarantine facility, so they would have just treated me in my room, because yeah, quarantine is that deep, it's that serious, it needs to happen, yeah, it's that deep. Anyways, so the day before I get released, I'm confirming with people that okay, Friday I am getting out of here. I need people to confirm this because I'm not trying to stay here anymore. And even if I'm allowed to order food, there's so much you can order, guys. Like I do eat out a lot, but sometimes I just want to cook for myself, you know. I just want to eat at home. The day before I get released, so now this is Thursday, July 21st, the nurses come and, you know, they swab me, they take the COVID test, and fortunately all the tests, they were the throat test, so not the nasal one. And then they say to me, oh, we need to also swab your stuff. And I'm thinking, swab my stuff? What do you mean? And then she swabs the handles, and then she swabs my phone. She goes into the room, she swabs the pillows. I'm looking at her, I'm thinking, all right, that's it. This is it. They are planting the virus. They want me dead. I felt like I was losing my mind. Like, just when I think about my thoughts, I was paranoid. I didn't feel like myself. I was like, yeah, she is planting the virus, and this is a way for them to keep me here. Okay, and then right after, you know, she leaves, I had brought like a disinfectant spray. I spray the disinfectant everywhere. I'm like, I'm not about to go down without a fight. I'm spraying everything. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, like, I am just so paranoid. Guys, I have never felt unsafe in China like I did when I was in there. Like, the thoughts I had, it was just so dark. Like, some of them, I'm even scared to share them because, wow, like, wow. Yeah, and you know what? I also realized, like, there's a reason why when people get sent to jail, they will isolate the most dangerous, like, prisoners, because it really does something to your mind. And humans are not supposed to be alone, at least for extended periods of time, because it really does affect you mentally.
Alright, so they dropped off these gloves, the rubber gloves, and they dropped off a new mask for me, so I'm assuming I have to wear these when I leave the facility. So they also turned my health code back to green. So this is the health code we need to actually get into public spaces. So since I came to the quarantine hotel, it was red. That meant that I could not be anywhere in public, so places would not let me in. I wouldn't be able to take the train. I would have not been able to access restaurants, supermarkets, and all of that. So now that it's back to green, I can pretty much assume that my COVID test from yesterday also came back negative. So I'm just gonna wait and see if they give me the time. So currently the time now is 12:30 p.m. When I spoke to the CDC lady, she said that they would come and pick me up at like after, well, said in the afternoon after lunch. And so now I'm just gonna pack and wait. And it's just been so emotionally draining, guys, because I don't even have COVID. Oh my god, I look like a mad woman. Fortunately, while I was at the quarantine hotel, all my tests did come back negative, and then Friday they did release me. And yo, guys, the release also has to happen in a way where your community kind of accepts you back. They like, okay, yeah, this person can come back. It was a car, like a mini bus that came to, you know, pick me up, and there were a couple of other people too in the bus. And so they stopped at every, you know, community, like still Nanshan area, and the driver had to, you know, take a picture to show, yeah, I dropped this person at their doorstep. Guys, it's a lot, hey? It's a lot. Yes, it's a lot. And I feel like this story time is probably not even doing it any justice, because I'm not a great storyteller. But just the whole thing just did not make any sense, guys. So I get back on Friday, and then I'm still supposed to do the 3 days of quarantine at home.
but my community tells me like it's okay, I can still go out and just go get the COVID test, it's fine. I know my other friend, she lives in Futian. They wouldn't even let her go out. They're like, no, stay in, someone will come and test you. So again, there's no consistency. It just depends on your community, you know. And yeah, like that was my experience, guys. And I mean, I laugh about it now, but I just laugh about most things, even if they're painful. I think it's just a way for me to cope. But it was very traumatic in the moment. It was so traumatic. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I told myself that, you know what, no matter what happens, whether China decides to open its borders or not, but this is it for me. Like, I'm done. Guys, I don't know where Chinese people get this from. Like, I just don't know where they get it from, because as foreigners, when we move to China, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We know the condition. We know what we're going to have to abide by. There's no one who moves here and decides to put on their activist cap to say, oh, I just want to advocate for my human rights. I want to be this activist hero. No, baby, we know what's up. So for you to say we don't want to follow China's policy is an insult. It's also, again, a situation of when you are looking at viruses, especially like this one, the situation is not going to be black or white. A lot of it is going to fall in the gray area. And I feel like our situation was one of those. It fell in the gray area where, you know, we were past the incubation period, which meant that the chances of us having COVID was still very, very low. Yet, even though we were willing to isolate at home, we were not granted that because the policy says this. Yeah. But anyways, again, I'm not putting this video up to have people feel sorry for me or to bash the government of China or for any other malicious intent. I'm simply putting this up to share my experience, and one that has changed how I view China. And also, you know, I've reflected on the experience, and I hold myself 100% accountable for this mess that I find myself in. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when I chose to be a digital nomad, I wanted freedom. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do all these things without any constraints. And when I got to China, specifically Shenzhen, I loved it. I fell in love with Shenzhen. I was like, wow, it exceeded my expectations. And before COVID happened, Shenzhen was a different place because you could just simply take a cab to Hong Kong. So like from my house to the border of Hong Kong is a 10-minute drive. I could simply decide, you know what, tonight I'm going out to have dinner in Hong Kong, and I would just take a cab, boop, I'm out, right? So we never really felt the nuances of living in China up until COVID happened. And it's been very different. It's been mentally challenging on so many aspects. And before COVID, when, you know, we had this freedom and it felt nice and it felt comfortable, I told myself, I was like, wow, seeing that this place is comfortable and I can do a lot, I think I'm going to try to, you know, stay here for a couple of years. And that was my mistake. That was where I messed up. Because after taking that decision, everything else, including my finances and, you know, other life stuff, I spread it out across those number of years, because thinking to myself, okay, maybe after 4 years, I'll be ready to move on. And now I know better. Now I know better. As a digital nomad, you should be ready to go anytime, any minute. And, you know, I learned the hard way. So it is what it is. So, yeah, the next country I relocate to, I'm not gonna make the same mistake again. Even if I feel like, wow, it just feels like home, I love it. No, baby, I'm just gonna make sure that I don't tie my finances to long-term investments and all of that. I'm just gonna make sure that, you know, I'm set to leave if I wanted to leave tomorrow. Yeah, that's that. So I will end the vlog here, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I guess if you've been impacted by COVID in 2022, please let me know how that's impacted you in the comments section. Although I feel like no one's really talking about COVID outside of China, at least not like that. Yeah, like, let's just start a conversation. You can share whatever you'd like to share with me. I'll respond. I usually respond to all my comments, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next vlog, and I promise you the next vlog is going to be something fun, light-hearted, and, you know, enjoyable. So yeah, bye.